Thank you, everybody, and welcome to this ADCET webinar, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Darren Britton, and I am the National Assistive Technology Project Officer at the Australian Disability Clearinghouse on Education and Training. That is ADCET for short. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a white male, somewhere in my 50s, you can guess, with greying blonde hair and a beard, much more grey than blonde. I have blue framed glasses on today, and I'm wearing a blue collared shirt. To let everybody know, this webinar is being live captioned and recorded. To activate the captions today, click on the CC button, which is located in the toolbar in Zoom, either at the top or the bottom of your screen. We also have captions available via a browser if you prefer, and the link to that will be added to the chat box for you to use if needed. ADCET is hosted on Lutruwita, which is Tasmanian Aboriginal land, and in the spirit of reconciliation, ADCET respectfully acknowledges the Lutruwita nations and also recognises the Aboriginal history and culture of the land. And I pay my respect to elders past, present and future, and to the many Aboriginal people that did not make elder status. I also acknowledge all other countries and lands from participants in this webinar today and acknowledge their elders and ancestors and their legacy to us and any Australian and Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander peoples joining us for this webinar. To this webinar, today's is presented from the vendor, and this is Genio, Unlocking Better Learning for All with Assistive Technology, which will be presented by Jim Sprialis. And this will demonstrate the key features of Genio Notes and how the features enable students to become more actively engaged in the learning process, as well as a bit of a sneak peek, which is exciting, and showcasing their soon-to-be released product, Genio Present. So we're looking forward to that. But before we begin, just a couple more housekeeping details. This webinar is being live captioned from Jason from Captify Live. Hello, Jason, and thank you. And it is being recorded as mentioned. The recording will be made available on ADCET in the coming days. If you have any technical difficulties, please email admin@adcet.edu.au and we'll try and get things sorted. The presentation today will run for around 45 minutes or so, with question time available then at the end. Throughout the presentation, please feel free to use the chat box with us and with each other, but please remember to use and choose the everybody option so that everybody can read what you have to say. Jim will be happy to answer questions at the end of his presentation. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask, please use the Q&A box rather than the chat box, and that way we can collate all the questions in one spot. We'd also encourage you to use the reaction emojis if you wish to during the presentation, which is a great way to give some feedback to Jim during the presentation if there's some things that you like, etc., that are going on, because it's sometimes hard when you're presenting to know whether you're hitting with the audience or not. So it's just a nice way to give some feedback. With that being said, thank you for the thumbs up. I will pass over to you, Jim.
Oh, thank you, Darren, and hello, everyone, and thanks for joining me today, where I'll be, talking about Genio and how it unlocks better learning for everyone with the use of assistive technology. Just have a quick moment. Here we are. Yes, so yes, I'm Jim, and just like on the webcam display, there's a headshot of me on screen wearing a green jumper and glasses, so there's some consistency. And it's a very recent photo showing that I'm in my senior years. My short hair has gone grey, but I'm still smiling about it. And today I'm coming to you from Tundanya, which is the city of Adelaide and its beautiful surrounding parklands. And Tundanya sits in Ghana country, and it means the place of the male red kangaroo. And I too respectfully acknowledge its past and present elders and appreciate the rich cultural history of this beautiful part of the country. Okay. Firstly, let's do a bit of a historical clarification about who Genio is. And for those of you already familiar with who we used to be, give an explanation for our name change. If you think back to our beginnings back in 2007 as Sonosent, when we launched Audio Note Taker in the UK, its purpose was to enable students with disability to take notes from audio recordings. And then in 2012, we developed a solution for the US and of course for Australia too, which was a bit like Glean Admin that you know now. And so it's designed to enable students to capture their lecture slides, jot down short notes, stay engaged with the content they're processing, and annotate the recordings as they go along. And it didn't really take long for us to recognize that there were more fundamental challenges that we could learn from these early uses of our emerging products. So, as we know, this image, firstly, on screen, depicts a group of students attending a lecture in a large lecture theatre. And we know to effectively learn within this particular context, we first need to be able to engage with the content, to take it in, comprehend it, and that content, and organise it so that we can retain that in long-term memory. But we know listening to a really long lecture presentation raises executive functioning challenges where each of these stages can act as a learning bottleneck. And Auto Note Taker could support these challenges, but we knew that we could improve on its design to overcome these barriers. And that's when we decided to release Glean in 2020. And its redesign turned out to be a really beautiful, simple, intuitive tool that anyone could use. And it was designed to meaningfully structure and scaffold the process of making notes and effortlessly connect to the online learning system. And then in the following year, we changed our actual company name to Glean. Going on from that, since that 2021, which is nearly, 5 years ago now almost, we've seen incredible impact that Glean's had, and its design has solved lots of challenges that are quite universal. And though it was targeted to support students with disability, we saw how this tool had an impact for all learners. And so our ambition has shifted in how we can now address that and help all learners be supported and grow as a learner. So our ambition grew with this, and so we thought it was time to say goodbye to Glean as we know it, and to rebrand as Genio. So just to get rid of any confusion, we're still the very same company that creates those beautifully simple learning tools to boost knowledge and confidence. But notice on this screen, I'm using the word tool in its plural form. So as Darren alluded, I'll talk a bit more about that in a moment. But with this rebrand comes our new mission, and that is to, of course, unlock learning for everyone. And we're really in a universal approach on campus. Every student has tools and the confidence to expand what's possible through their learning. So Genio Notes is still the same. On screen is an image of the Genio Notes interface. So it still looks like the Glean tool that you're already familiar with. And it shows that the inclusive design principles haven't changed. It still enables students to effectively take better notes through active engagement. It's not an automation tool that just records for you. The features within it are designed to support the executive functioning demands of note-taking, so that way students remain cognitively and emotionally engaged during that learning activity. And we'll unpack some of these features in a moment. Before we explore the features, I'd just like to unpack why we have changed our name. Over the last 15 years, we've spent a lot of time working with learners, and we have thousands and thousands of users over this long period of time. And we've been developing on an ongoing basis additional features and solutions to these challenges that they're experiencing. And so at the moment, higher education is still facing many challenges, and we believe that these solutions that support the learners we've been supporting, the needs never been greater. And really to highlight that, I've got some numbers I'd like to illustrate. Interestingly, non-traditional learners, who now make up the majority of learners in higher education, find themselves more likely to most succeed mostly come to the disengagement cycle. Now, I'm going to talk about this disengagement cycle more in a moment, but our research has shown that this population that we consider non-traditional now make up these majority learners, and we've found that 77% of them are time poor, and 43% of them are quite underprepared in their study commitments, and 34% of them face specific individual barriers to learning. And so the other thing to mention, of course, is that on top of this, our research has shown that 65% of students with disability who registered with disability at high school will not register with a disability service at college or university. And we call this group of students the missing 65 or missing 65%. And it's another group that we've identified needs support to help them escape that disengagement cycle, but might not be getting the support they need. So what is the disengagement cycle? On screen, there's an image of a flow chart. The circle on the left shows a flow diagram showing the impacts where learners face individual and experiential barriers to success. And we know that when they encounter poor learning experiences or grades, students tend to internalize these struggles as personal failings. And consequently, this lower learner confidence impacts stress levels, which can lead to reduced effort and motivation. And the cycle continues to go on, going back further to amplify poor learning experiences and possibly poor grades. So when students are faced these learning challenges to this level, learning is not only much harder for them, but it can lead to a loss of financial support or a disconnection with campus life. And that can increase the risk of dropping out. And it's not just students with registered disabilities that experience the disengagement cycle. It can be any student on campus. And so what can we really do about that? So obviously, Genio wants to look at how we can build better learning for everyone. And one of the ways to do that is to, this is nothing new for those of you attending today. What we can do, of course, is do what we're already doing as part of our core work. Continue to build accessibility and inclusivity into campus so that students don't need to self-advocate. And this can be done as part of a universal design for learning approach, where we offer universal support across the entire campus. And this approach, the purpose of this approach really is to reframe the traditional student experience, where we're providing more flexible and equitable access to, and more importantly, engagement with learning. And studies show that this universal approach really works. Students with disability are twice as likely to access support when it's made universally available. And when they do, they're 70% more likely to graduate versus the average graduation rate of students with disability being less than 50%. So that's a big deal. Okay. So universal support is making a big impact on keeping students engaged and successful. And a little bit later in this presentation, I'm going to share with you some specific data from various institutions that we work with. Now, just to move on, excuse me. As Darren mentioned, we're on a mission to unlock better learning for everyone. On the screen, there are 3 screenshot images of our tools and services. So the first one on the left is Genio Notes, the Glean product that many of you already know about and love to use. We're also now releasing, besides new products, we're also now releasing new services. And so now we've also got our first course that we've developed called the Confident Note Takers Masterclass. So I'll unpack that a little in shortly. And finally, we've got our other new product coming soon called Genio Present. So really, the rebrand into Genio, it wasn't just about changing the name of our very familiar note-taking tool. The rebrand is about our mission to provide additional products and services that offer student engagement solutions for your students. And really, we're just getting started. We've got additional courses and products in the pipeline. So really, it's just the really beginning for Genio as a brand. Now, for those of you who are already familiar with Genio Notes, I know many of you are, but for the benefit of those of you attending today who are new to our note-taking tools, I'd like to get everyone on the same page by playing this 2.5-minute overview video of Genio Notes.
Genio Notes is a handy note-taking.
Excuse me, I'll just pause that to switch on the captioning.
Tool that helps you study smarter. You can use it anywhere, anytime, even when you're offline. Let's take a look at how it works. A Genio Notes event is where you'll capture audio, import slides, and add notes. Audio appears as blocks of speech, with gaps where there's a pause. As everything is being recorded, you can fully engage in the moment without trying to write everything down. Instead, tag key moments in your recording using text notes, headings, labels, and slides, sending them straight to your notes feed as a reminder for later. When you come back to your event, you'll have a complete record of what was said. Each note is timestamped and linked to your recording. You can view a full transcript of your recording and listen back to the key moments at your own pace. During this presentation, we're going to take a look at effective notes. Create new notes or edit existing ones, adding as much detail as you need. You can even post snippets of your transcript directly into your notes feed. To make navigating your audio or transcript even easier, you can also automatically generate a structured outline of your recording. Genio Notes AI identifies topics and breaks your recording into sections so you can quickly jump to the information you need. You can also add a variety of additional content into your notes. Our Scribble tool enables you to create handwritten notes, perfect for diagrams and equations. You can add definitions directly from Wikipedia, search for and import online images, and add tasks with due dates to help you stay organized. Once your notes are complete, you can use them to help you revise for exams or complete assignments. Our Quiz Me tool allows you to generate a multiple-choice quiz based on your recorded content. This is great for testing your understanding and identifying gaps in your knowledge. If you just want to read through your notes, you can do this distraction-free in our reading view. You can also print your notes or export them into your preferred application. Whether you're studying in person or remotely, Genio Notes will help you take better notes and study more effectively. It's easy to use, and you'll see the benefits straight away.
Okay, just to recap, on the screen is an image that shows a recorded Genio event. And as was shown in the video, on the left-hand side, the column on the left is dedicated to posting your lecture slides. The center column is dedicated to the student for them to post notes, reactions, scribbles, tasks, and much more. And the column on the right captures the audio feed. And this audio feed column can be toggled to view the transcript or the AI-generated outline. All of the multimodal elements are synchronized to enable efficient navigation of that really huge body of information. And the synchronization of the interface is really important to point out. Its purpose is to enable better management of executive functioning demands in processing content and to promote learner engagement. Now, we've thought long and hard about addressing the issues of working memory, cognitive load, trying to maintain sustained attention and focus. And we've just found that the features we've designed help manage these executive functions a lot better. So we'll dive a bit deeper into those now. So on the left-hand side, there's a list of a few of the features that we'll do a bit of a deep dive on. At the moment, on screen is an animated GIF of the first feature I want to talk about, live captions. This feature provides real-time captioning for audio content on your computer, but also on your mobile device, making it easy to follow spoken content in noisy environments, or for those who prefer to read along. This live captions feature is an optional add-on, so to avoid confusion, it wasn't demonstrated in the previous explainer video, but I just thought I'd bring up this animation so you can see what it looks like. So back on screen is the image showing a recorded Genio event. The column on the left shows some slide annotations. So the slide annotation feature allows users to directly draw, highlight, and add text comments directly onto their slides. So it's very much like the scribble tool, but being able to do that on the actual slide itself. So it's really useful for capturing those immediate thoughts and reactions related to the content on the slide, so makes reviewing much more efficient. In the center column, though you can't see there any on the screen now, we've now added the ability for text formatting capabilities. So this allows users to customize their text notes with all the typical formatting options, including bulletin or numbering lists. That ensures the notes are clearly organized and visually appealing. And students can even now insert code blocks. The next thing I want to talk about while I'm on the screen is quickly that you can now install a browser extension, whether it be in Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. That way you can stay within the browser experience and seamlessly integrate your Genio Notes while you're in that browser. So it helps to centralize all your research and information. The other thing to mention, just beyond notes, Genio Notes offers integrated event scheduling. So the image on screen shows a dialog box where you can create and manage and link calendar events directly from within the application. So that way your notes are always contextualized with your busy schedule. And users can create schedules using either Google, Outlook, or their Apple calendars. So these are just some screenshots I wanted to sort of flag with you, but now let's dive a bit deeper into the Scribble tool, the AI event outline, the Quiz Me tool, and of course our newest feature, which just got released last week, our equation support features. On this slide, we have two animations demonstrating the Scribble tool. Its freehand drawing capabilities provides versatility with how students can record their thoughts and ideas. One animation shows the labeling and highlighting of sections of the human brain, and the other animation shows writing out a mathematical equation. So the Scribble tool is really useful for further supporting students in STEM and healthcare subjects. Imagine trying to accurately type complex chemical structures, intricate biological diagrams, or mathematical equations during a fast-paced lesson. And the Scribble tool allows students to do this quickly and precisely. As shown in the video, this slide shows an animation demonstrating the Quiz Me feature. And so it's a really powerful tool for self-assessment and knowledge reinforcement. Importantly, the AI just looks for the information within the recording. It doesn't go outside of the recording to gather information from large language models. So your students are being tested on the actual content that they've captured. And the beauty of course, is not only can they get confirmation about what they've grasped, and more importantly, use the Quiz Me identifies areas for improvement and where their knowledge gaps are. So by pinpointing these knowledge gaps where the students are struggling, they can redirect their study efforts more effectively and focus on those areas of weakness. So, lastly, we've got the recently released formula and equation support showing on screen, where spoken content, mathematical expressions are now displayed in both the Quiz Me feature and also the AI outline. The image on screen is showing the formula to calculate medication dosages. So users can view these latex equations and formulas in their outlines and be asked questions about them. And so it enables students to easily review STEM materials and reference formulas and test themselves on these formulas. The image on screen is a screenshot of a Genio recording on the topic of area calculation processes. To the right in the AI outline, there's a list of formulas that calculate the area of a rhombus and a triangle. So you can see there's some quite expansive generation happening in terms of equations. Another example I'd like to share with you about equations and formulas. Here on screen, we've got 3 images with examples of more. The image to the left has a black background and it lists formulas for various chemical bonds. The image to the right has a white background and lists various physics formulas related to motion, to gravity, and also magnetism. And there's a small image below that one with a lilac background, and it shows a complex formula related to the chemical process of alkane combustion. So let's just do a quick recap about all these features that offer STEM support. I think I've just missed a slide, have I? No, I haven't, sorry. It is really good that I'm really wrapped with the new equation and formula support, because it's being able to reference and test yourself on formulas is really valuable. But I'd like to point out that the other features are also impactful for STEM students. Adding meaning through the drawing of diagrams and scribbling equations and marking slides with annotations is really active engagement. So yes, AI can create their formulas, but we want to also make sure that students don't automate the learning process and engage in the learning process. And by creating these scribbles, annotations, and so forth, these additional snippets of information and reflections are captured and synchronized in the one event. And so really what's happening is it means that students can easily switch between all these multimodal snippets in the one platform. And I'd like to reinforce that what that means is that the combination of all of these features, it is what makes Genio Notes a more effective, holistic solution for STEM students. This holistic solution also includes a few other features that are in Genio. We know that STEM subjects typically have more lecture-intensive timetables and more overall contact hours than non-STEM courses. So really it's vital that students stay organised, and Genio Notes supports this by allowing students to schedule their events and organise that content, and just to reduce that stress of time management. And of course, we have an audio cleanup filter, which is actually a patented feature within Genio, and this cleans up all the background noise, reverberations that are captured when you record in large lecture theatres or noisy environments, and therefore making the recording quality, the audio quality, much better. And of course, the main thing, of course, I want to reinforce is that Genio Notes focus on active learning is really important for STEM students in terms of that cumulative knowledge. There's a quick turnaround in terms of their learning, because they quickly have to grasp formulas and concepts in that week's lectures in readiness and preparedness for next week's lecture, which will be more advanced and will have been designed to build on the understanding they gained from the previous lecture. So this active engagement using Genios plays a critical role in getting students to keep up to speed with this rapidly evolving course that they're undertaking. So, as I mentioned, Genio Notes is designed to empower students for better learning by utilising active engagement. We've talked about the AI, and AI is a really big elephant in the room for all of us. So I'd like to spend just a few moments focusing on Genio's position on AI. We're really transparent about how we use AI, and the Genio AI FAQ page on our website has got quite extensive information about this. But for today, I'd like to quickly touch on 3 aspects. Firstly, I'd like to point out the stringent agreement in place with our third-party providers. Once Genio's transcripts and live captions are generated for the student, the data is immediately deleted from their servers. It can't be used to train their language models. We've got explicit agreements on this with them. Now, in terms of AI and student learning, we believe that AI should be about efficiency and augmentation in active learning and engagement. We strongly believe that students need to be in control of their learning. Importantly, it's their choice if and how they strategically integrate their multimodal content they've captured into our AI-based learning tools. And this is a really important point about our approach. Learning by necessity has to be effortful. Learning requires effort. It requires cognitive engagement, friction, and practice. And it should never be about automation of AI, because learning rigor really matters. And this rigorous approach learners take with using Genio really works. We collaborate with over 1,000 institutions, helping them support their students who are part of this new majority, and to reach that missing 65%. And we've seen interesting, really impressive results. 74% of students who use Genio say it's really helped them improve their study skills. And I'm not surprised, because our tools designed for engagement and scaffolding the building of study skills. 81% of students said Glean enabled them to enjoy their course more. So being able to reduce the stress that comes with note-taking and learning by having these scaffolded features available to them has made a big difference in having them enjoy their studies. And importantly, 76% of students said Glean, or Genio, sorry, I have to say Genio, made them more confident with their note-taking. And this data is not just from students within disability services. We're working, as I said, with a growing portion of our customer base with students outside of those registered services. And those students are seeing the same results in growing their skills and boosting confidence and getting better grades. And just to give you a bit of a snapshot, on this slide, we've got 2 images displaying some usage statistics from 2024. The image on the left informs us that 22 million notes were created with Genio last year. That's pretty amazing. And the image on the right tells us that 4.7 million of those notes were created in just the month of October alone. In 2024, also, the image on the left tells us that 4.9 billion words were transcribed by our learners within Genio. And for those students who have access to our live captions add-on, the image on the right tells us that 1.1 million minutes of live captions were captured within Genio. So it's quite an impressive uptake of our product, and we're really proud of that. So it's making a profound difference. Our data is clearly showing that it's transforming learning for thousands of students and empowering them to engage with their material in more effective ways. But though we're incredibly proud of it, these successes also shine a light on a broader fundamental challenge within education. While our software provides these incredible tools, we've identified that many students still lack fundamental note-taking skills. They might have the best technology, but without the underlying methodology, they're not fully optimizing their learning. So there's a clear need for structured guidance in capturing knowledge effectively to truly make the most of their academic journey. In fact, in this 2022 research, 49% of students listed their own note-taking skills as the main blocker to them taking better notes and achieving better grades. And we know many students arrived into higher education not having been taught how to take notes. And so building on our proven success with actually using the note-taking tool, as Darren alluded to at the beginning of this webinar, we're really thrilled to announce one of our first products, our first ever course, the Confident Note Takers Masterclass, which teaches learners how to take good notes. The course is around an hour long, and we've split it into 7 modules with multimedia content such as videos, interactive audio, free text, multiple choice. But importantly, the course is tool agnostic. There's no technology reference within it at all. It's about teaching students to apply note-taking strategies, techniques, and utilize best practice, not how to use Genio Notes. So this allows your students to find and it allows your students to look at all these strategies and work out which ones personally work best for them. So on screen, you can see a bit of a screenshot showing the interface of the Genio Notes course and how there's some knowledge tests in it. And of course, we've designed the course in conjunction with learning experts, and the content of the course is offered in multimodal elements, so to tap into the multiple means of engagement and also multiple means of processing information. So you can roll this out straight away. It's an alternative to the resource-intensive study skills courses that you may conduct, and students can access it immediately. Here's a screenshot now showing the course modules. There are 7 modules plus a certificate module at the end. But you can see some of the topics there. One area is preparing for lectures. There's a module on note-taking formats, a module on identifying gaps in your notes. So we've really thought long and hard about the design of this course. Included, once students finish each module, they're directed to additional resources. So on screen, you can see a screenshot of some additional resources for note-taking for academic success. And these sources being suggested come from Australian institutions, which is, we've done our research around the world and searched for evidence-based information that we suggest as further resources for our students who do the course. And we've been testing this course for many months now, and we've had some fabulous feedback. 84% of the learners said the course helped them become confident in taking notes. And interestingly, 94% of them said that the course taught them something new. So we're really rapt with that. As I said, the course is free and you can access it immediately. So you just need to open Genio Notes in your browser and go up to your menu to access and start the course. Now, time to talk about our new product, a presentation support tool called Genio Present. On the screen is an image showing the Genio Present interface. It's displaying a slide with a webcam image of the student presenting their presentation, and it's been recorded. There's a time-stamped transcript below it. The column to the right displays feedback and notes. So what I might actually do is, rather than talk more than this, I might actually just go through and play the video, because I think the video will show, it will do much better justice than me trying to talk through and explain it all. So let me just bring up,
Imagine walking into your...
let me just put the subtitles on. And we'll play this overview video of Genio Present.
Your next presentation feeling calm and confident. Genio Present supports you to get there through structured practice, self-reflection, and feedback that actually helps. Here's how it works. Before you start, set your goals. Confidence, content, clarity. Defining goals keeps your focus clear and allows you to track your progress over time. Give your rehearsal a title. You should practice your presentation multiple times, so adding a title makes it easy to find and compare your practice sessions later. If your presentation includes visuals, capture them from any platform. PowerPoint, Google Slides, whatever you use. Genio Present works with them all. Got a time limit? Set the built-in timer to manage your pacing. Now you're ready to rehearse. Hit record and start presenting. You can capture audio and webcam video if you choose to. Once you've finished your rehearsal, stop the recording. Quickly note how confident you felt. Tracking this helps you see your growth over time. Next, it's time to review and reflect on your rehearsal. This is where you start to refine your delivery. You can listen back and re-watch as many times as you like, at your own pace. Genio Present automatically generates a transcript of your rehearsal, including all those ums and ers, so you can identify and reduce them. As you watch your recording, make time-stamped notes to specific moments that you want to improve or celebrate. You can even add emojis to make your notes more engaging. A second opinion can be valuable. Share your recording with trusted helpers. They can add time-stamped notes too, so their advice is specific and easy to act upon. Want objective feedback? Genio Present generates AI insights with specific, actionable suggestions to help you improve your presentation. With each rehearsal, you'll see your confidence build. Genio Present helps you track your progress so you feel genuinely prepared. Presenting doesn't have to feel like a leap in the dark. With Genio Present, it's a process where you can practice and progress until you're ready to present with confidence.
Okay, so hopefully you found that informative. So now I'd just like to just give a bit of background as to why we've produced Genio Present. There are 4 reasons on screen, but I'm just going to talk about the top 2 for now. They're not just nice to have abilities. We know that presentation skills are really important because they're really critical for academic success and future careers. Firstly, presentation skills are a crucial assessment of learning. Oral presentations are commonly used as a form of assessment, and usage is likely to increase. And in many cases, it's actually a required assessment now. Okay. So as you saw in the video, it really, Genio Present really empowers students to excel in these really high-stake assessments. Being able to deliver a presentation inherently helps them develop those critical thinking skills as well, because you can't just memorize your content and present it. You really need to have a deep understanding of your subject matter to structure it coherently and fluently, and be able to respond to your points. So using Genio Present enables you to be involved in a much richer learning experience. Beyond academia, of course, we know that those bottom 2 bullet points are useful to keep in mind for post-education when students enter the workforce, because communication skills and presentation skills in everyday work are really now a core part of competency that's required by our employers. But it's the first two that I really wanted to talk about, being able to present your assessment of learning in, and I think it applies in terms of universal design, because students are now offered a support tool to express their knowledge and understandings in a different format, as opposed to a more formal essay or assignment. As I said, it's only still available in the UK. I think an email accidentally came out to the Australian contacts last week that was withdrawn. Sorry about that if you did receive it, and about the confusion. But Genio Present will be released early next year, and can give you a specific update on that later before the end of this year. So, what's next? As I've mentioned, we're unlocking learning with site-wide customers, and I'd now like to share with you what we've been doing in terms of that universal design approach with our site-wide customers. We've been working with Pam Farron at Berkshire College in Massachusetts, and she's really on a very similar mission to us. She leads the Disability Services Department and understood that 65% of students with disability who will not receive support, and she advocated with institution-wide license at Berkshire, so that way more students could receive the support they need without seeking it. And so they signed on to a site-wide package, and it was pushed by her service, and I like what she shared with us once that was achieved. It's been a career goal of hers to ensure that there's universal access to all students on campus, and getting site-wide of Genio in place got her one step closer to achieving that goal. And just like Pam, the Disability and Accessibility Services team at QUT, at Queensland University of Technology, had the same drive. They immediately saw the huge impact Genio brought to engagement and academic gains for their registered students. The impact was so evident. A lot of students at QUT who weren't registered with their service were also requesting access. And so the vision became pretty clear to them as well, just like it did for Pam at Berkshire Community College. They went on a mission to empower all students with a tool that enhances their autonomy. Where am I up to? Sorry. So, and really, it led to them having that strategic goal that that we want to reframe the traditional student experience that we currently have for a lot of students, and provide a more flexible and equitable access to and engage with learning. So it really is UDL in action, and it's also about engagement. And we know sometimes engagement is often a proxy for retention. So the greater engagement that we as students have, the less risk of them of disengaging and risking leaving campus life. So a big factor in the success was driven by the organic advocacy from within the student body itself. QUT developed what they call Genio Champions. These are students who have experienced the benefits firsthand of using Genio, and shared that with great enthusiasm to get that wider adoption. And finally, I just want to quickly, because I know we're going to be short of time, just quickly touch on some data now on a third case study. The Volunteer State University, again, they had Genio in place through their disability services. and they drove the adoption of universal site-wide. And just last month, they provided some data for us, which was really fantastic. They found that over the 2 terms, that they had an 11% increase in student retention for students who were using Genio. Okay. And that data really compelled them to renew their site-wide for a second year. So I think the text on the slide speaks for itself, but I just want to say that I want to repeat that statistic that we're really pleased to hear about. First-year students who use Genio were 11% more likely to persist with from first to second year semester as compared to previous years. So, with those great results and also the additional data they collected, in the form of testimonials from other students, confirmed and validated the value that Genio brings to all their students. And on this slide, you can see at the bottom, there's a link where you can download the full case study of Volunteer State University's implementation. So just to wrap up, yes, our mission is about UDL, and this is what a site-wide rollout can look like. It does promote the UDL activities on campus. One of the values of that, of course, is that it picks up on those missing 65%, those students with disability who don't register with the service. It provides support for those students who are new majority learners, who don't get captured and seek support. And those first new majority learners can be working parents, first generation students, or mature age students returning to study after a very lengthy time away from it. And so just like our subscription packages, what else this package looks like is the value that we bring and the support we bring. Because even though this webinar today is categorized as a vendor demonstration, I hope the information that I'm sharing today alludes to you that Genio is more than just a vendor. Many universities we already work with, they view us as a valued partner in their mission to build better support for their students. And we are really proud of the input that we've provided and the results and that are being shared by through these collaborations with our partners. So hopefully you've now got a sense of how Genio in this new rebranding is all about inclusive learning and engagement, and how our mission is supported by not only really powerful inclusive technologies, but also evidence-informed courses and services. If you'd like to know more, there's a QR code as well as the link below it, which is the same link, where you can post some questions, but also you can download our new product brochure that just got released last month. So I think I was anxious of time, and I'm not sure how much time I had left, Darren, but I'm hoping that we've
spot on time, because we've only got a couple of questions in there, Jim.
Right.
So thank you. And I think, look, the lack of questions might go to how thorough your presentation was as well, which covered most things. But we do have a couple of questions here, and I might join both together because they kind of fit. Tracy was asking which features from Genio Notes are part of the basic package and which are add-ons. And along with that, Veronica had a question on how much does the live captioning cost on top of the base product or the standard product that's there. So can you just help differentiate what's included in the base and what's additional to that, and the costs of those, if you can?
Yes, everything that you saw on screen is included in the base except the live captioning. So the live captioning is an add-on, and it's hard to give a price because it depends, of course, on your licensing structure, whether you've got some institutions have a 50 or 100 user subscription, and so you get they purchase capture with it. So it just adds us like a small percentage. So it's not actually like a double cost or anything like that. But as I said, if people would like specifics, it'd be easier to email me and then I can give them precise figures on that.
Yep, excellent. Look, and I did just want to note that there was a resource that you might have just slipped in there. I think the reference that was in Present when you were adding, there was a reference in there to a Rick Astley video being added. Quite subtle, but in there for those that may not have seen that on screen. I'm just trying to make reference of that.
I must say the first time I saw that video, I did actually say, oh yes, this is so typically British. Yes,
yep.
The UK office, yes, developed
Excellent.
this video.
Look, well, that's the key question to come through. I've got another one that I'd just like to quickly ask while we have just this minute or so left, and that's certainly with Present. So you're looking at the early next year, that being available in the Australian market. What sort of feedback have you been getting with that in terms of students or from, and will there be, I suppose, some case studies with that similar to what you've done with Genio Notes?
Yes, they're currently being compiled now. The feedback has been really incredibly responsive. We decided to do the pilot through the Disability Student Allowance assessors. So they're identified students that they work with who really need something like this for their oral presentations. And so we're gathering all that data now, but the response has been overwhelmingly positive. And it was actually, the tool was developed because we've got a close consultative process with students and faculty, and they've been asking for a tool like this for a long time, and so we've taken that on board and worked with them to develop its concept and what it should look like. And in saying that, we can open up invitations early next year if it's going to be delayed, that you can ask for a pilot. We're happy to give you access to trial it early next, maybe in the first semester for next year.
Absolutely. Oh, fantastic. That's great to hear, Jim. Look, and Todd's just said in chat, and I'll back that up as well. I've heard from students he's mentioning that have found the support from Genio very helpful as well. It's not a set and forget product. Certainly they will get responses and feedback and help and support from Genio as well as from your institution. So I've heard that from a few students as well. So just pass that along to the team as well. The support is very welcome.
Thank you.
And good. Look, I might just quickly wrap it there because we are running out of time, but thank you for keeping on time as well, Jim. There was a lot to cover there and it was very informative. So thank you very much for your input today and for that vendor demonstration of the tools. Much appreciated and a lot changing in this space. So thank you very much, Jim. And thank you to our captioner, Jason from Captify for captioning today. An email will be sent to you when the recording of this video of this webinar will be made available on the ADCET website, and please feel free to share this with your colleagues. We ask that you complete a short survey on this webinar and sign up to our newsletter if you're not already, and links to that will be added into the chat box for you. We'd ask you also to please save dates for the upcoming webinars we have. The next one on September 17th is Strategic AF, and you can read about the AF. So practical, tactical, and sometimes fantastical approaches to equity initiatives. And then the AIS framework about operationalizing accessibility within student support services coming up on the 8th of October. But please keep informed through our newsletter and through the ADCET website, and full details of all of these things will be available in the chat box. And we're right on time. We've done it. We fitted right within time. We fitted all those slides in. Thank you very much, Jim. Thank you to the ADCET team. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today.
Bye.
Please enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you.